My mother was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. All I am I owe to my mother. I attribute all my success in life to the moral, intellectual and physical education I received from her. Overgrown military establishments are under any form of government inauspicious to liberty, and are to be regarded as particularly hostile to republican liberty. True friendship is a plant of slow growth, and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity, before it is entitled to the appellation. My first wish is to see this plague of mankind, war, banished from the art. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire, called conscience. I have always considered marriage as the most interesting event of one's life, the foundation of happiness or misery. If we desire to avoid insult, we must be able to repel it. If we desire to secure peace, one of the most powerful instruments of our rising prosperity, it must be known that we are at all times ready for war. The foolish and wicked practice of profane cursing and swearing is a vice so mean and low that every person of sense and character detests and despises it. Lenience will operate with greater force, in some instances, than rigor. It is therefore my first wish to have all of my conduct distinguished by it. If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. The Constitution is the guide which I never will abandon. There is nothing which can better deserve your patronage, than the promotion of science and literature. Knowledge is in every country the surest basis of public happiness. Laws made by common consent must not be trampled on by individuals. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. Someday, following the example of the United States of America, there will be a United States of Europe. Religion is as necessary to reason as reason is to religion. The one cannot exist without the other. A reasoning being would lose his reason, in attempting to account for the great phenomena of nature, had he not a supreme being to refer to, and well has it been said, that if there had been no God, mankind would have been obliged to imagine one. It will be found an unjust and unwise jealousy to deprive a man of his natural liberty upon the supposition he may abuse it. Nothing can be more hurtful to the service, than the neglect of discipline, for that discipline, more than numbers, gives one army the superiority over another. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. A slender acquaintance with the world must convince every man that actions, not words, are the true criterion of the attachment of friends. War, an act of violence whose object is to constrain the enemy, to accomplish our will. There can be no greater error than to expect, or calculate, upon real favors from nation to nation. It is an illusion which experience must cure, which a just pride ought to discard. My observation is that whenever one person is found adequate to the discharge of a duty, it is worse executed by two persons, and scarcely done at all if three or more are employed therein. I beg you be persuaded that no one would be more zealous than myself to establish effectual barriers against the horrors of spiritual tyranny, and every species of religious persecution. I know of no pursuit in which more real and important services can be rendered to any country than by improving its agriculture, its breed of useful animals, and other branches of a husbandman's cares. The Constitution which at any time exists, till changed by an explicit and authentic act of the whole people, is sacredly obligatory upon all. To form a new government, requires infinite care, and unbounded attention, for if the foundation is badly laid the superstructure must be bad. The tumultuous populace of large cities are ever to be dreaded. Their indiscriminate violence prostrates for the time all public authority, and its consequences are sometimes extensive and terrible. Gentlemen, you will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have grown not only gray, but almost blind in the service of my country. In proportion as the structure of a government gives force to public opinion, it is essential that public opinion should be enlightened. The foundation of a great empire is laid, and I please myself with a persuasion, that Providence will not leave its work imperfect. Democratical states must always feel before they can see. It is this that makes their governments slow, but the people will be right at last.